everybody? This is Island Hopper TV, and today we're coming to you from Belize. We're going to show you the best things to do. Let's do it.
That's right, everybody. We're going across Belize from the mainland out to the Keys. We've got 17 things for you to see and do all across this beautiful country. Let's get started. Here we are starting out at San Pedro. Now, San Pedro is the town on the south part of Ambergris Caye, which is actually in the northern part of Belize. Just so you know, a key is an island. So this is an island off the shore. I actually arrived from Chetumal, Mexico on a ferry. That took 2 hours, but this is a cool town and they got beaches nearby, lots of snorkeling, going out to reefs. From my experience, I would say that San Pedro has the most infrastructure and the highest end hotels in all of the country. So keep that in mind if that's what you're looking for. You have to actually fly into Belize City and then take the ferry to get out here. There is a small airport here, so you can take a puddle jumper to get here. Golf cart prices are typically $50 to $70 per day, depending on the strength of the cart. Now from San Pedro, you can go north a bit to Secret Beach. Now Secret Beach is probably the best beach on Ambergris Caye, and I would recommend making the effort to get up here. If you take your golf cart, it's going to take you around 20 to 25 minutes. Just make sure the golf cart rental company lets you go that far in the cart. If you don't want to drive up here yourself, you can take a taxi or join a tour group that does either a boat tour that comes up here or one of the island tours. The benefit of that is you don't have to worry about how many adult beverages you have. Now we're going to talk about a water taxi. So island hopping around, doing key hopping as they would call it, on water taxis is the most efficient way to get around this side of Belize. I took 3 different water taxis while I was here. The shortest one that I took was from San Pedro to Caye Caulker. Typically you can get tickets right there at the ferry port. Next thing to do is actually go to Caye Caulker. Now if we wanted to compare San Pedro to Caye Caulker, a lot of people said go to San Pedro, but for me, I actually preferred the vibes down in Caye Caulker. It's a little bit smaller island in Ambergris Caye, but I like the vibes here. I thought it was more laid back, better sunsets. The hotels aren't as good, but if you like chilled out vibes, this is where you want to be. It really has that Caribbean feel to it. Now, while here on Caye Caulker, you can actually go to Iguana Reef where you'll see stingrays there in the water. Be careful getting too close because they do sting. Also, you'll see some pelicans down here and great sunsets over here at Iguana Reef. And the guy who drove me around the island, his name's Gilbert. I met him at the ferry port. He actually showed me this place, and they have seahorses, which was really cool to see little seahorses down there. Now you can come here any time of the day and just hang out. But for me, the best time to be down here is going to be at sunset because as you can see, it's absolutely spectacular. And that is something to do in Belize, especially when you're out at the Keys, is watch the sunsets. So make a point to take in 1 or 2 sunsets and sunrises. Now here we are at the Blue Hole. You can do a tour out to the Blue Hole where they do scuba diving and snorkeling around the reef, but it's best from the air. Speaking of scuba diving, that is a very popular thing to do here because there's so many different barrier reefs on the outside of the Keys where people like to go out there and check out what's in the water. Occasionally, you'll even see a whale shark. And if scuba diving isn't the activity that you want to do some snorkeling because snorkeling is probably the best thing you can do on one of these tours. And it's really clear, warm, blue Caribbean water for you to explore all around here. A half-day tour is usually around $50 US, but if you wanted a full day, that's about 90 USD or 180 Belize dollars. So 1 USD equals 2 BZD. Now here we are on the mainland of Belize at Xunantunich Mayan Ruins. This is probably the best archaeological site you'll find anywhere in Belize. It's over here on the western part of the country, about 80 miles from Belize City. There is another site that I recommend, which is called Caracal Mayan Ruins. These are also very impressive. If you guys wanted to check out either one of these, I would highly recommend it. You can even go into Guatemala to a place like Tikal, which is absolutely spectacular. Now here we are at Actun, Tunichil, Muknal. Very hard to say, so people just call it ATM Cave, but it's a cave where Mayans were living and there are some remains that are still here to this day. I would consider it similar to what you would find in Mexico with cenotes. Now let's talk about some of the local food. Lots of seafood. They also have tacos here. The 2 main seafoods that stood out to me here were going to be the lobster and the shrimp, although they have plenty of different fish on the grill, fresh right there. Lots of chicken here. They have jerk chicken, coconut rice, which is actually something you should try, kebabs, And another meal that I had here quite often was Indian food. I found there to be quite a few Indian restaurants on both of the keys, but of course, tacos, tacos, tacos. I ate a lot of those. And I had coconut pie. Now let's talk about deep sea fishing. In this part of the world, deep sea fishing is very popular. You'll see people come from far and wide just to go out onto these waters. So if you get a chance, do some deep sea fishing, especially if this is something you're into. Now, when it comes to nightlife, I found there to be the best nightlife happening on Caye Caulker. They had a little bit of nightlife going on around San Pedro, but also Secret Beach. I would not consider Belize City to be an ideal nightlife destination. So if you're really looking for the nightlife, I would say Caye Caulker. It's very easy to walk around. They have plenty of taxis and chilled vibes. My tour guide Gilbert recommends Roy's. Another activity to do here is water sports, obviously getting out there on a sailboat or doing something on the water like jet ski. We've got all of that going on here. You can just check out the prices at any one of the tour booths that they got, commonly found at the beach. For me, just doing some kayaking or getting out on a stand-up paddleboard was good enough, but nothing beats a jet ski. Also check out the Belize Rainforest. About half of the country is subtropical jungle or rainforest. Consider checking out the rainforest on the banks of the Moho River. And now that we've just shown you a bunch of things to do in Belize, I want to give you some quick information. So the population of Belize is around 400,000 people. They actually get more tourists per year than people who actually live here. Also, another thing to keep in mind, this was a British colony. About 50 years ago, it was called British Honduras. That's why they speak English. So it's the only Latin American country that speaks English. So that's good for you who may be coming from an English-speaking country. Now, when it comes to the currency, it is a Belize dollar, which is actually pegged to the US dollar as 2 Belize dollars to 1 USD. The capital of Belize is Belmopan. One thing I would like to say is you'll notice that there's these islands, and they typically look like they're spelled like Caye, C-A-Y-E-S, but they're pronounced keys, and there's around 450 keys and outer atolls around Belize. When it comes to exploring Belize and breaking down your trip, you're basically going to have to look at it like this. You're going to have the outer keys, which is going to be San Pedro and Caye Caulker, as well as several other keys out here, and the barrier reef of Belize. Then you have the Belize coastline, which basically begins at Belize City and goes all the way down the coastline. Places like Hopkins, you also have Palencia. And then in the inland, you're going to have a lot more thick jungle, and you have places like Belmopan, which is the capital. We talked about that. You have San Ignacio, and then you have most of the Mayan ruins, especially as you go towards Guatemala, where they have the great Mayan civilization ruins of Tikal. But you're going to have a lot of different interior regions where they have thick wooded rainforest, and that's a lot different than what you're going to get on the Keys or even the Belize coastline. So there's a lot of marine biodiversity. Occasionally you'll have whale sharks like we talked about earlier, but you also have a lot of different tropical fish. And then on the land you have the Belize howler monkey, which is one of the loudest monkeys in the world. And then you have jaguar sanctuaries, you have iguanas, and you have lots of different birds in Belize. So a very rich biodiversity down here. And when it comes to getting around Belize, there's basically 3 ways that I most commonly found getting around. So it's going to be arriving by airplane or ferry boat. Most people arrive into Belize City. It is a very old airport. It's small, but it's functional. From there, typically expect to take ferries or high-speed boats all around the islands, the keys. And if you're going into the interior, you may actually be better off just doing a rental car or a taxi, private car, and then you have the shuttle bus tours, which are probably the most recommended. And if you guys enjoyed this one, I would encourage you guys to watch some of our most recent Mexico videos. We did one from Playa del Carmen, and Tulum. We're also going to the Caribbean next. So thank you to all of our subscribers and channel members. And watch some more of our other videos. I'll put some links here to some of those new videos next. See you guys on the next one.